Adik, Gabriel, nice to meet you. This is Marcel.
So,
Adik, Sam, this is
Long.
Long.
Nice to meet you.
I was talking about what? I forgot.
You said you're Muslim and then you have to pray.
Yeah.
And you wear different
My
clothes.
mom sometimes asks me to still wearing the hijab because right now I'm praying like a man. I don't wear hijab anymore. So, but there's no yelling. There's much more understanding. And when she met, I mean, people like me, my condition, she asked me, "Is she like you?" You know, I don't know. You should ask her. I don't judge people, but at least they're not support it, but it's going to the right way. I think about understanding about trans people.
What are their fears, do you think? Why is it hard for them?
Yeah, they afraid maybe they have to face our big family from my mom's side and my father's side because in Indonesia that's the big family is kind of serious thing to consider about what they say. But I think they are. Yeah, I'm not young anymore, right? So the choice of my life is mine. So that's it. They think you're not my responsible anymore. So do what you must, but make sure you're not make us shame again. Like when I become a junkie, right? And then my mom, when I'm not home, my mom always waiting calls from either a police officer or from a mortgage. Yeah, something like that, from hospital. So they think that my condition right now is,
Now you're out of drugs?
yeah, thank God. For almost like 16 years, I'm out of drugs. And yeah, I think it's, they think my condition right now is doable or acceptable for them.
How was it for you?
I feel different since I was kid. So I begin to search any information about my condition gitu kan. And my friend asked me, but you are a female, right? Yes, I'm born as a female. But you think you are man? Yes, I think I'm a man. But you like other women? Yes, I like other women gitu kan. And she asked me that, so you are lesbian? No. Maybe I'm in lesbian category, but I prefer not to call as a lesbian. I didn't know about trans men yet at that moment, and she confused about me, and my friend who know about my condition is still confused about me. And so, what do you plan in the future? My friend asked me, and I said, maybe I want to go to another country to change my gender and my sex, so and I come back as a man. And from that moment I more try to find another information about my condition, and I found that trans man information about transgender. I still think that transgender is just waria or trans woman. And when I read about the T transgender, and they called that there is a female to male transgender, and okay, that's me. And the hardest part is when I think about myself, I talk about myself, and my parent is divorced, and my family, big family, think that I become like this because my parent divorced, and I tell my brother, my younger brother, that I I am saya seperti ini karena saya seperti ini. Saya memang sudah memikirkan ini dari lama, bukan karena orang tua kita berpisah, bukan karena kita broken home, bukan karena kita ada permasalahan lain, tapi memang saya seperti ini. And
He said, I am what I am. It is. It is his condition. So, what his condition now is not because of the parent divorce, because it is what it is.
yeah, so I tell my brother, so I don't have any problem with my parents apart or divorce. I don't mind, and this is my condition, and my big family still talk about that I become like this because of them.
And your
Oh.
parents, how do they deal with it?
I think they know about me, but I don't tell them yet. I'm not tell them yet until now, but they like maybe kayak kuda-kuda.
They kind of understand, but there's no communication about his
And do
condition.
you think about talking about it?
Yeah,
When?
maybe as soon as possible. They text me why I didn't come home, and they tell that no matter what I am now, I am still their child, and I think they already know about it, just still waiting to me to tell them.
How long haven't you seen your parents?
1 year. 1 year.
And in this year that you went through transitioning?
Before since I start my hormone therapy, I didn't come to them because I'm afraid that they notice my difference.
And how do you think they will react when they see you?
He has a facial hair right now.
Maybe shock, but I think they will accept me.
How was it for you?
I feel different, and
Because you didn't have period.
I'm not got a period. Then my mom bring me to hospital, and apa ya, maksa
Forcing
force
you.
me to use to drink a medicine that I don't know what the medicine is. Then I don't know how much I try to suicide because I feel I'm a male, but if I got to that I got to show my body, I feel okay, something wrong in my body, something not on the place in my body, then I'm stressed.
Because you're intersex.
Uh,
Yes.
at that moment, I have no idea about intersex, and I got intersex problem in me when I'm about 15 years old, when my uncle tried to help me to
I mean, different.
To discover what was going
yes.
on. So, but go back, like to when you were a kid, when you were born.
Mhm.
How was it? Because
When I'm born, my mom told me that in my genetical, I have longer clitoris, more like micro penis. But the doctors and my parents decide to cut it to to make it like a vagina. Then decide I'm a girl. Like that.
Do you understand?
yes, of course, yes. But did your mom consent with that?
Setuju.
And what did the doctor say at that time?
I don't know. That's their conversation and decide to make it me. So, okay.
So the doctor, they decided what sex that he has when he's born. And the parents also went.
Yes.
So it was a consent between the parents. And the
Yes.
The doctor suggested,
Yeah,
Yes.
the
looked, saw that you had.
vagina and very long clitoris. So let's cut the clitoris and make this baby girl. Baby girl.
Then they treat me like a baby girl until they know I'm an intersex. But I have to fight to decide my
Gender identity.
gender identity that I am a male.
And how was it for you to grow up being raised as a girl? But when did you start to realize about your body?
It need to translate it.
Yes.
Ah.
Just for me to understand.
Please.
Apa tadi?
Merasa berbeda dan sangat-sangat berbeda.
He feels like he's in junior high. He feels he's different, and gue tambahin ya masalah nggak especially when he doesn't get his period at all at the age like 15,
Yes.
and he feels like at that age also he likes the girls, but he still doesn't understand about his condition.
Yes.
And that's why before the mother take him to consume the hormone pills for women, but until 1 year,
Yes.
until 1 year, and he still doesn't get his period because he doesn't have a womb at all because he's an intersex. After that, the uncle help him. Your uncle is doctor, right?
Yes.
His uncle is the doctor, so
I
his
see.
uncle gonna check, do the medical check to him, and the uncle doesn't find the womb. And that the mystery I finally
Finally. Thanks God.
How was it to find out?
solved. Ketahuan gimana?
In one side, I'm really happy, but the other side, I feel I'm like an alien because, okay, I have a vagina, but I have
Testicle.
testicle too. Okay, then what I am? So I really feel like I'm alone, and it's make me think, okay, maybe I am an alien, something like that.
And now?
Now I'm happy because I meet them. I feel not alone anymore. And setelah ini banyak bertemu dengan teman-teman intersex yang walaupun masih belum visible.
After they meet us and they meet another LGBTI organization, finally he found another intersex, but who identify themselves as a female or woman, not as a trans man like Adit. So if you listen from what Adit said about our medical treatment in Indonesia, that was completely wrong, right? They're supposed to check why Adit doesn't have their period, right? But no, they don't check it. The doctor just give him a hormone, a female hormone, to become tuned. And that was wrong.
Well, even when he was a kid, I mean, ideally,
Yeah.
they should have just let you to be the way you are, and
Yeah.
then you decide if you
Yeah.
want to decide.
Problem is lack of information about intersex and transgender in Indonesia for the medical practices. They don't understand about our condition exactly, so they don't know what to do. They just decided when they see the baby with uncertain, sex. They just it look like a vagina. It look like a micro penis. So okay, they have vagina, so let's cut the micro penis and make it girl. Yeah.
It's mutilation.
Yeah,
Aha.
exactly. Yes.
And do you have information about how many intersex, or what is the approach of this government, of the civil society to intersex people here in Indonesia in general?
He only know 4 intersex people in Indonesia, including him. So, terus gimana peranan pemerintah? Raono.
Nothing.
The government doesn't know about intersex thing. But I know about some cases of intersex that gonna blow up for the press. But they can easily change their identity if that's because the medical condition, they're intersex, right? Before he was raised as a female, then he chose to be male. And then they're easier because the intersex is medical condition, not like a transgender.
Yeah. So in a way, it's easier.
Yeah.
So were you able to change your legal name and identity?
Not totally. Masih berupa.
Because if even you are an intersex, if you go to the want to change your identity, you still have to pay. It's not cheap. Kind of that's culture in Indonesia. You have to bribe the judge to make it easier, so the judge not publish it to the press and something like that. So it's all about money.
It's all about money.
Yeah.
Just like some.
And for trans, there is no gender identity.
In our ID, we don't have
Right.
gender. We only have sex.
Yes.
So it's gonna be female or male.
Female or
We
male.
want to change the sex in our identity, we must do the surgery under experience.
Full surgery.
And what does that mean for trans men?
Very expensive.
Well, which one? Mastectomy?
Oh, including bottom and top surgery.
Alloplasty.
Bottom as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
All change and you can go to change your ID. Before
And your
that,
name as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no. Yeah. The name is more easier because we don't have to change our sex, right?
Yes.
The name is more easier, but
We don't need a doctor and the proof from the doctor and the proof from hospital that we change our name.
yeah.
But I talked with my doctor. He said that maybe we can still change my sex and my legal identity if I don't want to go to Palo surgery. They can help it
How?
because they have argument in Paloplasty is just visual, yes,
For the
Aesthetic.
aesthetic. Yeah.
not functional.
The point is his doctor is willing to help to give the recommendation that tells that Sam has already gone through everything that he needs to change his identity, a sex identity, right? But
Maybe more difficult and takes longer time.
a lot of money.
And a lot of money. But
And how much does
Cost.
do these procedures cost?
For the bottom only?
For everything. That's
For
correct.
everything, you're gonna at least 300, 300 million rupiah. It's around in US dollar is about 25,000 US dollar minimum, because at least you have 4 times surgery for everything. Top first, and then maybe you can do hysterectomy to take out your womb, and after that the last is the bottom surgery, that at least you have to have the 3 times surgery for the bottom.
it's not include the change legal identity.
That's it.
And one thing that it's a lot of concerns in human rights that doing trans rights, it's access to health and safe health and use of hormones, and many times they are not really prescribed, or because there is this need of adapting or avoiding to pass as a trans. So how do you see that? Do you see that in the community? How is the treatment with hormones? Is it safe? Is it?
No, because a lot of the lack of education for the doctor about the transgender. So a lot of trans men do their own self-medicate. So they just you can use this brand for hormone. I mean testosterone. Okay, you buy it online. You can buy it online in Indonesia, and then you just
Self-injection.
do the self-injection things, and then you don't understand about the side effect. You just want to grow your facial hair. You want your voice to be deeper, something like that. They don't think about their side effect, including the doctor. Sometimes the doctor doesn't know about the dangers of hormone replacement therapy.
I've read quite a bit, and there is this critique or even this inside the trans movement, those who use hormones and those who don't try to use hormones. And there are a few critiques in the sense that some of the trans men are so extreme that they are just trying to replicate the gender roles and norms of other men and look very manly and sometimes be aggressive towards their own health, right? So what do you have to say about that?
we
How do
have
you
the
share?
same.
And he's laughing there. He's probably has something
Exactly
to
the
say.
same. Exactly the same. General it sucks, right? But that's always happen. Especially, I'm sorry, our senior doing the transition. I mean, the older trans men, the fully transition things. They don't. They see me as You're not man. You're only trans man. Because I'm not doing the hormone replacement therapy, and I'm not doing my surgery, or I'm not doing anything. That's why I cannot call a man.
And they look at our body shape first. Jadi when we take hormone, but our body shape just like
Gesture.
the gesture is still female, then they don't want to go with us in the public space because they don't want people think that they are
Also same.
with us.
They don't accept us if us ngondek.
One that is mean you do the gesture like feminine things. They're not allowed that. Trans men cannot do that.
Just like cis men,
Cis men, yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. But this come from transgender community, right? It's kind of no, come on. You feel what I feel, right, about our body, but that's it.
And some places in the world you don't need to go under surgery to be recognized as a man, right? So you just go and you change your name and that's it. So what's happened is that a few trans men, they are getting pregnant. Have you seen that?
In Indonesia, not yet.
But
Have you heard about it?
our friend is planning for that
Yeah.
because he is a gay trans man, and he want to start his medical treatment after he got married with his partner,
Have a
which
child.
is a man, and have a child first, and then change all of his body.
Nice.
I don't know.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
I should come again when that
Very-
happens.
Oh, wow.
And I talk with him very often, and he said that maybe it more hard for him because he must dealing with his dysphoria until he got married and he got pregnant, and yeah, but he enjoy it because he maybe he think that he is a drag queen. He like to dress like a female sometimes. He like to wearing makeup. He like androgynous style, whatever he like, and he
He
enjoy it.
still identify himself as a man.
And you usually refer to dysphoria and to condition, and that's probably because of the gender dysphoria, right? Concept. And until the beginning of the 90s, homosexuality was also seen as a mental illness, right? And how do you feel about it? Do you know about the efforts being made here for a depatholization of gender dysphoria?
We are grateful that the homosexual is being put out from the pathology, mental illness, right? But they still have the GID things, right? Gender dysphoria for the future, maybe after all the transitioning is correct doing in Indonesia. Maybe we can ask the pathologists to take that also. But right now we're focusing on to make the government know there is a transgender man or transgender female to male in Indonesia, and you have to know about their condition. We work, we make a contribution for our country, so we pay our taxes. So don't forget about us. That's our goal. That's our plan to make this community, the masyarakat apa? The people of Indonesia know about our condition and our existence, and then make the healthcare more friendlier to transgender, especially to trans men, and of course to make all the transition, including the top and bottom surgery, more cheaper for us and easiest to change your identity. That's our goal first. After that settle, then maybe we can take that gender dysphoria out from the pathologists.
My dreams, I want to people in Indonesia and all around the world can accept us by condition, about our condition, accept us all. Don't look as like an alien.
I want to enjoy my life as who I am and my activity now, and saving money for surgery for mastectomy, or maybe hysterectomy first. I don't know, but I enjoy my life now.